it's Guy DiMartino. I'm a Northwest Indiana estate planning and probate lawyer, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about opinions. You know, everybody has one, and you know the saying about opinions, but when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to legal matters, your friends, your family, your coworkers, the folks that you see out in public all have opinions about what you should do. And a lot of times they are well-meaning opinions, but they do not know the whole story unless they're professionals, unless they're a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. They might not have all the professional knowledge that they need to answer the question. And a lot of times, they might only be giving you responses based on something that happened there in their life, which could be a factual scenario that's completely different than yours, or somebody that they know who told them a story, or something that they saw on TV. Case in point. A few weeks ago, I received a phone call from somebody saying that their accountant told them that they need so-and-so document in order for them to do their taxes. So I said, you know, that sounds weird to myself. So I said, why don't you give me the name and number of your accountant, and I will call them up and find out what they're asking for and what they're hoping to get from this information and why they need this information, so we can go ahead and prepare for you whatever you need for your accountant. They said, okay, I'll call you back. A few days later, they called back the office and they said, oh, I was mistaken. I was talking with somebody at work and they told me blah, 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 blah. And they said, I'm sorry for bothering you and wasting your time. And you see, this happens all the time. You know, you're out for dinner and you're talking to somebody about a blood pressure problem or something that's going on with you physically, and they said, I know what worked for Aunt Susie. And her blood pressure, she went ahead and meditated this and walked this and didn't eat salt this and did this, this, and this, and her blood pressure was cured in 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Or I know what Uncle Frank did regarding his taxes. He did so and so and so, and he got a refund for $15,000, and he thought he was going to have to pay $8,000. Or I know somebody who was involved in an accident, and they went to this lawyer, and they got blah, 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 blah. And they're telling you these things in order to give you advice because they really have your best interest at heart. But they don't know the whole story, and they don't know your whole story. And when you're dealing with these issues, sometimes, you know, they're a little trepidatious. You don't quite know what you're saying. So if you have an estate planning matter, or if you have a concern regarding a relative that's getting older and what are you going to do? Are you going to have to put them in a nursing home? You're going to bring somebody into their house? Or if you're having a health problem that's going on, or if you're having a legal matter that you see brewing out in the future, it's probably best to discuss these issues with professionals who do this work. For instance, if you're concerned about Aunt Susie and you see that her, you look after Aunt Susie, but she doesn't have any kids, and she was never married, and you're concerned about what would happen in a few years if Aunt Susie needed to go into a nursing home, you would probably want to speak to a lawyer that deals with elder care issues, so you could possibly help Aunt Susie get all her ducks in a row if the time comes when she really can't handle her own affairs and has to go into a nursing home. Who's going to take care of her home? Who's going to take care of her banking? Who's going to pay for the nursing home? Is she able to do it? Is there something that she can do now to preserve her assets? All those types of issues. The same thing if you're thinking that, you know, your blood pressure is just a stress thing. Maybe you need to go and discuss that with your doctor and say, look, it appears to be stress motivated, but your doctor might say, you want to know something? I think we need to go ahead and rule out the other causes of high blood pressure. Like maybe we need to do an EKG, we need to do a chest x-ray, we need to make sure your heart's working okay. And then if that's okay, let's just take a quick look at your liver enzymes to make sure your liver's working okay, and your kidney enzymes to make sure your kidney's working okay. And then once we rule out those things that could be quite dangerous, then we can go ahead and say, okay, let's deal with the stress. I think your blood pressure problem is coming from stress. So it is very important when you're confronted with these things in life that can really impact your life and your family's life now and in the future, that you discuss these things with a professional, even though your families, your friends, your coworkers, the barista at Starbucks or some other place has your best interest in heart and tries to give you advice. They may not know what is best for you. So if you have any questions about a Northwest Indiana estate planning or probate matter, you can always give me a call. I am Guy DiMartino. Have yourself a great day.